Mike with Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Maniac L by Swag Bags. If you've been watching my reviews, you'll remember I did a review of the regular Maniac not too long ago. This is one of the newest bags that Swag Bags has released to our lineup this year. I did that review. If you haven't watched the Maniac review, I'll put a link to it up over here as well as one down in the description. Go watch that. You might want to pause this and go watch that first, because I'm not going to do a full breakdown of these L's like I typically do in a review, because a lot of it is the exact same as the regular Maniacs. I'm just going to talk more about the differences in this bag, the differences in the playability, and help you decide maybe which one you should choose over the other, or if you should get both of them in your hands. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about these Maniacs. Just real quick, it's got the herringbone carpet we all know and love. It's got a unique fast side, a 5-speed and slow fast side. It's kind of between an 8 and a 9. I can't remember what I rated it at in the Maniac review for sure. Swag Bags calls it 8.5. I'm fine there. It's kind of it settles somewhere in that 8 to 9 speed. It's fast. It's not uncontrollably fast, but it's fast for, it does great at collecting bags, sliding the boards in any condition. So wonderful fast side. The more I've thrown this material, the more I'm starting to like it. It's just something about it I just really feel comfortable throwing. So 5, 8, 8.5 speed bag on this. It's, medium template bag. The fill is where things differ. And if you've watched the other reviews I've done, the Chaos L, the Bazooka L, from Swag Bags, you'll see kind of a trend in that the L versions, the L stands for light. It is a lighter bag. It's not a big difference in weight. They made it lighter by taking some of the fill out, and then they've actually added in beads back in place. They pulled the regular Maniac has a mixed fill, but it's a mixture of flat. I don't think there's any beads here. It's all a mixture of kind of different flat fill, some flat disc, some thicker flat fill in the regular Maniac. The Maniac L has less of that fill in there, but then they've actually put in some beads back in to help get with some volume. So you've actually got some round beads mixed in with flat. So this is really a true mixed fill, but it is still less fill. It's lighter. The lighter, you're talking about 5 grams or so. It's not a big, huge difference. If you pick these two bags up, you're not telling the difference of weight. If I put these bags in your hand and it didn't say L on it, you would have no idea which one's lighter than the other. It's not that big of a difference as far as the weight. The bigger difference is in the looseness. This is definitely a looser bag. Now, both bags have flop. The regular Maniac has flop to it, and I talked about that in my review. It's got flop here. You will notice there's a little bit more puffiness on the sides here. If you see, it may not be enough to see. There's a little bit more puffiness on the sides, whereas when you get to the Maniac L, you hold it up, there's a little bit less of that. There's some puffing there, but it's not quite the same. And again, I don't know if the camera is really going to show it as well, because the flop difference is not that big. So when I do them side by side, I don't know if you can really see that. I don't know how well that is transferring on the video here, but there's just a touch more flop to the L's. And again, it's not a huge difference. Really where I notice it more is when I grip the bag. I do a butterfly grip. When I grip this bag, I can pretty much lock down. Even though it's got some flop, I lock it down. It doesn't have movement at all whatsoever. When I grab the L's and grab and lock them down, there's still some movement. There's some wobble or some play here, because there's not enough fill to really expand and fill the bag up. You get some looseness there. Now, what does that do? Well, one of the big things it does is gives the bag more forgiveness on the landing. So if you don't throw a flat bag, herringbone material is known for kicking. If you don't throw flat, it's going to kick on you. And it can have a pretty harsh kick if you have a bouncy, more active fill. Neither one of these bags has that type of fill to it. So even the regular Maniac doesn't have a ton of kick to it, but there's some kick. By taking and making the bag floppier, you're taking more of that kick out, making it even more forgiving on that landing. So if you don't throw a flat bag, I would probably recommend leaning more towards the L than the regular Maniac just for that. The other thing I would say is I find that floppier bags just do a better job of grabbing that hole. And I'm talking about when you're missing it left or right and you're skipping by. It doesn't take much. You got just a dip of this corner to dip in that hole, right? And it grabs it and pulls back in. When you get a bag, and again, the Maniac's not that full, but when you get a bag, you need more of the bag in the hole to get that dip, right? You push the corner, that corner doesn't want to dip in. Whereas when you get a floppy bag, see if I can do this right, you get just more of an angle in. It's going to grab just ever so slightly. And I'm nitpicking here. We're talking about fractions of an inch difference in where you're placing the bag on the board. But, again, over the course of a game, it may just make the difference of one bag going in over the other one not. And that could be 2 points. That 2 points can make the difference in the outcome of the game. So, in a game to 21, every point matters. And I do think that, if consistency is an issue that you have, maybe the L is a better version for you. Now, in the playability side of it, I would say, for me, if I'm pulling these bags out, how I'm making my decision is if I want to throw blocks and play a dirt style game, I'm going with the regular Maniac. I think just that touch more fullness in it makes the bag just ever slightly more more collectible. So if I throw a blocker up there, I can grab the bag on the corner. It doesn't accordion. It's going to accordion some, but not as much. I can clip it easier. So I get more aggressive putting those blockers and then just grabbing it and pushing it in. Whereas when you get a little bit looser bag, what happens, you throw that blocker up there, you get the accordion effect. So this L version is, to me, is if I want to play more of a clean run bags in the hole, I've got an opponent who throws blockers and plays a dirty style game. I'm pulling the L out because I have the ability to get around their bags. They throw a blocker up there. Now I can just kind of step out, go into the corner, accordion up, bully them out of the way, take whole control, put my bag in with the L easier than I can with the Maniac. Doesn't mean the Maniac doesn't, the regular doesn't do that. Again, I'm nitpicking here the differences, just trying to find the minuscule difference, because there are small differences that make subtle changes. And I think for the more skilled player, you're going to notice the difference. If you're a beginner starting out, you're probably not going to notice the difference. If you're a beginner, I would say start with the regular Maniac. I just think because of the less flop, a little bit more fullness to it, I think this bag overall is more suited towards the beginner. I think the L is geared towards more towards that advanced level of play where, like I said, the get around, the sneak around, you're squeezing through tight spots on the board, stuff like that. I think that's where the L comes out. And again, for me, I'm playing the L when I want to run bags. I'm playing the regular when I want to play a dirty style game. Doesn't mean, like I said, you can't do either. Like I can run bags with the regular. I can throw blockers with the L. You know, you just got to adjust slightly how you do it. I would say both bags are really good at the shot shaping, cuts, rolls, flops. I think the regular is a little bit better at it just because of that fullness, a little bit better at that. But either bag will work well. Again, neither one are great for the beginner level of the shot shapings. If you're average to advanced in those skills, you can throw either one of them and do well. If you're kind of a beginner, I think you want to probably find a better bag. SwagBags has some better bags that are, you know, like the Emerald XR, which is really good at cuts, rolls, flops, and learn with that. Now, I'm sure we'll get to ask the question, which one do I like better? And honestly, I don't know. I think there are going to be times where I'm going to throw both of them. Maybe as I throw them more, I may find myself settling into one over the other. But there are things I like about one over the other and things like the other one over the first one. So it's really tough for me to say this one is my favorite. I would say if you're a fan of the Wizard L, I think you're going to like the Maniac Ls because it's kind of got that similar weight, a little bit lighter weight. It's got the flop, a little looser, floppier version of that bag. It's got the mixed fill, similar to what you get in the Wizard L. Different fast side, but overall a very similar playability to the Wizard L. I would say the regular Maniac is probably more like if you like the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer, if you like the Fallout X, somewhere along that line, that's where you're getting with the regular Maniac. So I hope that helps you decide. I'm excited to kind of keep throwing these and really see how they go and which direction they head and whether I start preferring one or the other. So if you want to know which one I prefer, keep watching my Thursday little shorts I throw up here, the what's in my bag segments that are every Thursday, and you might start seeing one of these bags over there appear more often. That might tell you which one I'm liking better. But overall, I think both bags are great bags, and regardless of which one you choose, you're going to love it. It's going to be fun to throw. And I love what SwagBags is doing. Their lineup, the new bags they've added in have really filled some gaps, really gave you some other options they didn't have. Really love the direction that SwagBags is headed. So check out the Maniacs and the Maniac Ls. At least in availability, and SwagBags has a website, swagbagscornhole.com. As always, link down in the description for you. The Maniac Ls, I'm sure that they haven't been released yet as this recording, which I seem to be doing this a lot. As I'm recording this, they have not yet been released. They will be soon. They may be released by the time I upload this. So go check it out, swagbagscornhole.com. I'm assuming the bags are around about $89.99. SwagBags usually runs about $90 for a set of bags. It's $13 shipping, so $103 shipped to you for the bags. That's the same price for both of these. And if you're not sure, grab both of them. You grab both of them, you're only paying $13 shipping for the two sets combined, so you can really kind of drop that shipping cost down and split it between the two sets of bags. So definitely check them out. If you throw in the Maniac, you throw in the Maniac Ls, I'd love to hear your opinions, especially if you throw them both. If you throw them both, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how they compare, which one you prefer and why. Drop a comment down below, let me know. Thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.